T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Let's get ready to sucker!
Diamonds in my teeth, I got a lot of shine. Running up the number, that's a lot of crime. Try to take it from me, must be out your mind. I'm big time, lot of slime. Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Pockets running over with the dollar sign. Try to take it from me, yeah. Big time, big time, big time, big time. Running up the numbers, that's a lot of crime. Try to take it from me, must be out your mind. Lot of signs. Smoky in the air, that's a lot of crime. It's running over with the dollar signs. Try to take it from me. Big time. Diamonds in my teeth, I got a lot of shine. Running up the numbers, that's a lot of grind. Try and take it from me, must be out your mind. I'm big time, lot of shine. Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Pockets running over with the dollar sign. Try and take it from me, from me, from me, from me, from me. Big time, number 9. Diamonds in my teeth, I got a lot of shine. Running up the numbers, that's a lot of grind. Try and take it from me, must be out your mind.
And welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to a Friday, a weekend edition of the YSN Power Hour. And, well, the gang's all here today. It must be, well, it must almost be football season, because we have some returners back, one of them being the voice of the Mahoning Valley Scrappers in the PA box. It is Richie Giuliano, who is immediately to my right. If you're looking at the screen, then you have Quinn Pushkar. Anthony Romo makes his triumphant return in his Hubbard Blue. Then we have the angry guy who is back in Ohio. I think you're back in Ohio, are you not? You're still in Myrtle. Just got a better connection. It's Billy Mack. We've got EB. Oh, yeah, you're in Myrtle, all right. And we have, of course, Paul Munson. Gentlemen, how art thou?
It's a Friday. I got soccer in about an hour and a half.
Like you're playing soccer?
Yeah, right. No, soccer doubleheader.
There's a
No,
guarantee.
nobody wants to see that.
I'd put 20 Skittles down to see Paul Munson play soccer like a midfielder.
No, I'd be a goalie.
No, you wouldn't.
Yeah, I'd play goalie. That's where I'd play.
You'd be terrible.
All you gotta do is just sit back there and.
Oh, you know how all the best stories start with all you have to do is ...
You gotta move, man. You gotta move.
Yeah.
Listen to Richie.
Like Jeff saying baseball's easy. Yeah, hey, being a goalie's easy.
I think we put a goalie up against you for some content, and we see who can do a better job. Because all they have to do is ... stay back.
Yeah.
How are the rest of you guys? You doing all right? Anthony Roma, you're live. You're well.
Hey, yeah, doing good. Finally got a weekday off work for the first time in forever.
As I say, you and the guy in the middle there, the ginger. No offense, Billy. The Ginger twins are back, but one half of them is the only one we have beef with. But Richie's the guy who has been the voice of the Scrappers all year long. Richie, the final game canceled here today. And now you're back to what we are so used to you being in the role of, and that is the do-everything guy. Welcome back.
Yeah, it's great to be back, Long season with the Scrappers, also was working, like Romo said, during the weekday, but, it's nice to be back. Finally got a weekday off, which I'm excited. I got the trip down here to the studio. Thanks to Anthony for having me on Running Point as well as Ty. So, it was a good start to my weekday here.
And we'd be remiss if we didn't say that you are the official replacement of Ron Potesta for many reasons, but one of them being that you have taken over his role of eating all of our food. So the M&Ms are now on watch. There he goes.
Yeah.
The M&Ms and popsicles have been warned. Billy Mack, how's life down in Myrtle Beach, my friend?
Life is good. Last day down here. Long trip ahead of us, but we're gonna enjoy the rest of today, man, and be back in the yo shortly.
Can't wait to have you back, man. We're gonna need you because we got a lot of games coming up here next week. We got volleyball. We have, I don't know, something they do with the pigskin. They toss around a little bit. But some breaking news before we even get to our celebration of the national what day it is, or would you rather, ladies and gentlemen.
I guess all you have to do is push the envelope, and all of a sudden things get pushed around. Right?
No, there was a little bit more to it. I had a great conversation with the Howland AD, one of my favorites, and they've been a part of YSN for about 9 minutes or so. I'll tell you what, Andrea does a fantastic job out there. We had a very open and informal discussion about what's important, and we at YSN, we're always about the kids. We're always about the programs, and having those two guys on yesterday from Howland Barstool, I don't think it hurt us, but I think that it just showed a good faith, and we're excited to have Howland join the network. Howland is a very, very, very sports prominent community. They love their sports. We already have the announcer, who many of you will be familiar with, making a comeback to the network. We're excited to have that'll be week 2, Paul, I think, that he'll make his debut this year.
Yeah, Ravenna travels to Howland week 2.
So we'll have that, but welcome, Howland. Welcome, and officially welcome to the Wyndham Bombers as well. I know we did the informal yesterday. The graphics went out today. We're excited. So that's 2. That is 2 that we have welcomed, and we've got maybe one more. Maybe make it a nice. Things are just better in 3s, boys. Things are better in 3s, and we're hoping to have that announcement early next week. It is International Left-Handers Day, and we do have at least one left-hander on the panel here today. So my question is, who is the greatest left-hander of all time? Paul Munson, we'll start with you.
Wow. I don't know many left-handers, personally, but if off the top of my head, the one I can think of is Randy Johnson. Randy Johnson would be probably the greatest lefty that I can think of off the top of my head.
That's good thinking. That one didn't cross my mind, but I like that. EB.
That is a tough one. I don't know. Like, probably the best athlete I've ever seen as a left-hander would be Michael Vick.
That's another good one. Another one that didn't. Kate Kelly says that, and we are free of children shortly. I don't know. There's a little inside info for that one. Michael Vick's a good one. I thought of him, but I was like, be careful because of the whole puppy dog situation.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna, comment on like his actions outside of being an athlete. Obviously, that was kind of morally, wrong in every way. But as an athlete of what he was, he was a game changer. Like, it almost changed the dynamic of the quarterback.
All right. I completely agree with you. I think we all know where this is going to go. Billy Mack.
Man, if I was left-handed, I think we know where this would go. Unfortunately, I'm not. The guy that wears number 24 and number 1 in your heart, Ken Griffey Jr., greatest left-hander to play anything.
I knew it. I freaking knew it. Let's go, Romo. What are you thinking, lefty?
Well, the only left-hander that I could think of initially was Michael Vick, but EB took that. So I'm gonna go with one of the greatest college athletes of all time, Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow at Florida.
You're not allowed back on the show. Get him off. Get him off the show.
That's why I said college football. I'm not talking about NFL. I'm not talking about him as a tight end. I'm talking about him.
First day back, this is what you're gonna do? Haven't seen you in a while.
Okay, well, I was put on.
Hello.
I don't know.
No hello. No hey, how are you doing?
I think of Michael Vick. I think of Tim Tebow.
Just rate the Tim Tebow. Hey, let's just give Tim Tebow more awards for nothing.
I could have won more in depth on the Tim Tebow thing. If you want to talk about NFL, I'll talk about his game-winning touchdown in the playoffs.
Stop. Now you're definitely off the
show. Since we were going in that direction, I had to throw a little jab, but I'll rest my case at Tim Tebow.
Okay. Quinn, your thoughts?
Without a doubt, me. It's myself.
We said the best left-hander, not the laziest.
Myself. And if I can't pick myself, Bill Russell.
There it is. Quinn Pushkar, Bill Russell.
Exactly.
Let's go there, Eminem.
Phil Mickelson. Greatest left-handed ball forever.
Can you turn his microphone up, please?
I was going to say, it wasn't all the way earlier.
Up. It is all the way
the
up.
wrong microphone.
Phil Mickelson?
No.
What mic are you on?
4, the one Brian said it was.
Check another one.
All right, there's 3. That's that one right there. I already know that. And 5 is this one, and it's not.
So what am I on?
4.
Doesn't sound like I'm on 4.
You're not.
No.
That's 3. I know that.
Is this one on?
Yes.
There we go.
That one's 3.
Glad we test things.
Yeah.
I went by what Brian said. Brian
Never
knows
go by
how
what
this all
Brian
works.
And your voice of the Mahoning Valley Scrappers, Richie Giuliano, learning how to use your microphone for the first time ever today, here live on Power Hour.
Hey, I don't control the board.
There it is. Little can-filled scrum back there.
Hey, I'll agree with Richie. I did that one time for a weekend, and all you do is talk into the mic. You don't control anything. You just talk.
This is what Richie sounded like the other night. Guys, get off the tarp.
Guys, can we please get off the tarp?
Please get off the tarp, guys. I'm
They wouldn't listen.
about it.
Guys, please hold on to the tarp as hard as you can and don't fly away.
Did you see that video?
Oh, that was bad.
I wanted somebody to get off their feet.
There was about, what'd you say, DJ, like 25 fans that had to come off onto the field just to hold the tarp down, and then it blew into the stands.
And Scrappy. What's the female Scrappy?
Jade.
Okay, well, we call her Scrappette. She was doing like the wave and everything, while Scrappy was demonstrating what a mascot should be doing, trying to hold down the tarp on the field.
Leadership skills.
That's it. I mean, Scrappette had no shot. Just was not happening. Jade. Like, what happened to Mrs. Scrappy? Jeff was calling her Mrs. Scrappy. I don't know if there's marriage in there. I didn't see a ring on her finger or paw, whatever it is.
And what is Jade? I mean, how's that anything to do with Mahoning Valley?
I don't know.
Because it's jaded, maybe?
Jaded.
We're all a bunch of jaded. bitter people in Mahoning Valley and just trying to piss you off.
This is the jaded of them all, right there. Whammy.
I am not jaded. Hello. Let me just keep it on there. That. No jaded here. No jaded.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how angry are you going to be on Monday's show? Because you're going to be back in the yo.
Well, you got to remember, like I've been home for like 3 days this whole month, for like the last 30 days. I guess the month's kind of early still, but like I've been gone since like July, right before coming back from Texas.
Yeah.
Basically, just packed up and left. I'm ready to come home. I am.
Wow.
I miss the yo. Not the rain though that you guys keep getting.
And we're going to get more tonight, it sounds like. My lefties it was going to be Ken Griffey Jr. Here's the question though: Is Kelly Pavlik left-handed?
I think he is.
I think I was going to say it, but I didn't want to sound stupid.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is. I'm trying to remember him signing autographs. I think it's left-handed.
I think he's left-handed.
When he throws darts, he was left-handed. Yeah.
So I'm going with Kelly Pavlik. I'm skipping Ken Griffey Jr. I should have just went with my gut instinct. I'm going Kelly the Ghost Pavlik. Phil Mickelson was a good one. Phil Mickelson was a really good one, Richie. Good call.
I'm surprised that one flew by.
The Ghost has his show tonight.
Does he?
Night of Champions.
Yeah, the Night of Champions. That could be interesting. That could be content all in itself because there's
you
a lot
got
of guys.
5 world champions together, and it's free admission too.
And they don't all necessarily like one another. From the rumors that I heard. So I would be interested to hear some of those stories and maybe a little chirping back and forth. Maybe we can have a YSN like celebrity showdown. No, if you have a chance to get out there. That's probably a once in a lifetime opportunity to see all those guys and hear some of those stories. So make sure you get out there and check it out. Kelly's one of my main dudes. I love that guy. He's done so much for the city of Youngstown. I think that'd be fantastic to catch up with him. We are going to catch up with him sometime in the next couple months. So excited about that. It is time, ladies and gentlemen, for the Baird Brothers Would You Rather? And that is brought to you by Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Visit them on the web at bairdbrothers.com. So yesterday was Would You Rather play your best friend or beat your rival? Rival completely swept across the board. Now, it is Would You Rather, and this is very, 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 very ironic because we're having this, especially this week. I know Sebring pushed back their practices till night because of the heat. Would you rather practice extremely early in the morning or extremely late at night? Paul, we'll start with you.
Late at night.
Any reason or?
I mean, I think it would be cooler to be practicing, under the lights, and in the night it's a little cooler in the evenings. I mean, especially later in the evenings. I mean, sometimes there were schools that do like the Midnight Madness and start, their practices at midnight on that first day that they're allowed to have practices. So, I mean, extremely early in the morning just is terrible for anything, I think. So getting up that early, I mean, yeah, you could say, oh, well, you're done for the day. Well, it's the same thing. You practice late at night. See, if you're done at like 2, 3 in the morning, go to bed. Now you get to sleep in a little bit, get up in the afternoon, and you got the rest of the day. So,
how about you, EB?
I'm definitely late at night. I mean, when I was in high school, we used to do our 2-a-days. We started early in the morning, and we hated them. So you got to get up, on the field dressing ready by 7, so you're there by 6:30. And I mean, I've always been a fan of the psychology behind it, that your games are generally at night. Your games are like 7 p.m. So just to create that habit, if you're practicing at that time, then it's just one of those small intricacies that your mind, your body, everything's kind of in sync with being ready to go at that time.
Do you believe, and I've heard both sides of the story, do you believe in, like, if you're, like, playing at 7 o'clock at night, that you should, like, even in the off season, you should be training, like, 6:30 to 8 o'clock, something like that, so that way your body stays on that same clock?
I mean, there's exceptions to every rule. I think humans are creatures of habit. So when you start to create that habit, your body gets in sync with it. And if you're ready to go, every day at 6:30, 7 p.m. during practice, game time, I think it just kind of enhances it even more. I don't know if there's any truth behind it. It's kind of like my own self-psychology viewing of it, but I know a lot of coaches do it. Like I'm pretty sure Razil did it at McDonald. Like he always practiced at 7 because he's like, our games are at 7. Why would we want to practice at 3 when we're not going to really, you're not mentally or physically prepared to play a game at 3.
I always remember whenever we were having like football practice, like you would obviously have games, during the evening on Friday, but like Saturday morning would be JV, and your body's not ready. And it's like when you're running, it either takes a little bit longer to get going, or it's like your body's not ready for it. It's just not prepared to run at 8 o'clock in the morning. And even now as an adult, and I'm no runner by any means, but I like running at night because I feel like it's a little easier. I don't know why. But then when I run at 9 o'clock in the morning sometimes, because that's the only time I have, it's 10 times as difficult. And I don't know if there's any science behind that, but I'd be interested. That was really interesting you brought that up. Billy, what are you thinking?
I'm gonna take a coach's perspective and say morning, for the simple fact that like a lot of these coaches have different jobs. So maybe they have working afternoons or maybe they work night shift. I know when I coached, we had about 4 coaches that were worked midnight. So it would be real difficult for them. And then, maybe some of them have families and they have their own routine. So I think it would be difficult for a lot of coaches to make this. I think this is a bigger question for coaches than it would be for the kids, because the kids can adapt to just about anything. The coaches sometimes may not be able to.
How about you, Mr. Blue Shirt, Hubbard Blue?
I'm gonna have to go with early morning practices just because of the fact that it does take a little bit longer to kind of get acclimated and fully wake up. But I mean, if you practice like 8 to 10, you're done at 10 a.m. You have the rest of the day to go do whatever you want, and that's just a different point than what everyone else was saying that I could stick in there. So yeah, I'm definitely early morning. And sometimes when you practice late at night and it's a day like we've had the last couple of days where it's hot and you kind of want to go outside, you kind of have to stay inside because you don't want to get exhausted and then have to go to practice.
Let's see how Quinn can ride the fence on this question. He's going to say practice in the middle of the day, I'm guessing. Quinn, go ahead.
No, 100% in the morning. You get up early. That means I get to go eat breakfast afterwards or before, whichever, or both. In my case, both. And morning practice is always the best practice. It's always the best.
Are you wearing Penn State?
They don't like what?
Are you wearing Penn State?
Yeah.
I thought you were an Ohio State fan.
My dad graduated from Penn State.
Go Tigers. Richie, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm in the morning as well. Just because Romo said it ruins your day, honestly, when a practice is at night, because you can't do anything during the day. And, especially it affects my eating habits as well, because you got to eat at a certain point, right? I mean, you can't eat at like 5 o'clock if your practice is at 6 because you might throw up. So you got to eat like 4. Nobody eats at 4. You got to eat lunch at a certain time, probably 11. So I like, honestly, when it's in the morning, because then I get it done. Like Quinn said, I could either eat breakfast before or I could eat after, whatever I want, and then I have the rest of the day to do whatever I want. When it's at night, it just ruins everything because you can't go outside, you can't go out and, play wiffle ball or whatever with your friends because you're going to get exhausted and then you'll be terrible at practice.
Whatever happened to the day? I remember practicing in 2 days with like 115 degrees, uphill, both ways. Like, this is crazy, right, Paul?
I agree. Sorry, I had it muted.
You had to mute just for I agree. No, I'm with you. I don't know, man. I would rather have practice at night just because I can get my stuff done during the day, and I know after practice, if I need to take extra reps, it's on me, and I'm not holding anybody up. There's nothing going on. If you're practicing from 8 to 10 or whatever, or 7 to 9, there's usually nothing going on after 9 p.m. So I would rather practice in the evening, just because most people aren't working until that point. So I would go with it. Kate chiming in and says Billy probably didn't have shoes in those days either.
No.
Sandals.
We just figured it out. Okay, that's all we did.
Or you calloused your feet so much that they were like having shoes on anyway. There it is.
There you go. There you go.
There it is. Gentlemen, last night, the official first night of the preseason, with obviously the Hall of Fame game pushed away from that. Are you impressed? Are you excited about 3 preseason games and what these teams are going to be able to find out about their players in 3 weeks? Or does anybody miss the 4th preseason game at all? I'm interested. I think it's going to be a clean sweep, but we'll start with you, Richie. Do you like 3 or do you miss the 4th?
I really don't even care. I don't watch too much of the preseason, especially because this is right around where baseball season starts to pick up. When you talk about the MLB, and last night, of course, at the Field of Dreams, that was such like a special event. That's all I really cared about. I wasn't even paying attention to anything else. So I don't really watch much of the preseason just because none of the important characters are playing. I mean, you'll have a couple guys that make special teams, but that's really about it. So I don't really watch much of the preseason.
Spoiler alert from Richie, we will talk about that game that happened last night. But first, we want to talk, do you miss, Quinn, the 4th preseason game? Does it even matter?
No, it doesn't matter. It's the Turd Bowl. Who cares? They're all the kids that get cut anyway. Who cares? Who wants to watch that? I went to one of them once because I was bored and the tickets were $2 for the Browns because nobody wanted to watch anyway. And nobody made the team. They were all cut. Every one of them. The whole roster from the 4th game was cut. It was stupid. Didn't care.
Hold on real quick. Billy, what are you drinking? It just looks like one of those cans that just says beer on the side. Oh, you're Yeti. Okay.
It says beer.
Duff beer.
No sponsorship.
Yeah, he's like in a movie where you just grab it just says beer.
No free advertising. Moonlight. Anthony Romo.
Honestly, the preseason, it's just once you get towards the end of the preseason too. I mean, the first week of the preseason is somewhat fun. The first drive, I guess, because football is back and you just get that feeling of watching it. But once the 4th preseason game comes, like on my end, like it's like right when school's starting too, that last week. So like you're not really in a great mood for anything.
Miserable.
So yeah, you're miserable that whole last week, and nothing will pick your mood up. So
here comes the ray of sunshine on the preseason. I have a feeling. Here comes Billy Mack.
I mean, the preseason is so stupid. I'm over it. Like, I don't need to watch it. I don't care to watch it. They just do your 2 scrimmages off campus. You don't have to televise it. We all know why it's televised, because the NFL makes a buku of money because they get idiots like Quinn who goes and pays $2 for a seat, and then they buy beer and all kinds of other things.
Just $2, Billy.
Yeah, I mean, let me like Michael Page, who's going to go spend $100 for a ticket to go watch the Browns game this year. Like, stop.
EB.
I mean, does anyone care about the preseason at all? Because you're the only person that I know.
The only reason is because of who's going to be the backup to Roethlisberger for me right now. That's the only reason I'm watching.
But outside of that,
no, don't care.
Because you get a bunch of people you don't know their names. You'll never know their names. Like, they're going to be practice squad heroes. But granted, they're further than any of us ever made it. So right. Kudos to them. But it's like you have I don't care enough about the NFL to be like, I can't wait to watch this preseason game tonight. Let's go hit up the bar and get the barbecue grill going, and come on, B-Mac, let's smoke some meat and watch some preseason. No, I've never said that before.
You're not fired up? Like, none of these guys are going to be on your fantasy football teams when we have our draft here in a week or two?
I mean, I don't know. I'm sure they will be, but I'm not going to study them now. I'm just going to go by what best available, or hey, they have a cool name.
I saw Kevin Rader had a couple catches last night. I knew that the former Youngstown State Penguin, he's on the Steelers right now. I hope he makes the team. It looks like he's got some good hands, but we'll see. We will see. Paul, thoughts on the preseason?
They play preseason games? I didn't know. So, yeah. Didn't even know they put them on TV, really. So, I could care less.
You're not even really a professional football fan.
Listen, I like the Raiders, and on Sundays I will turn on football. And I'll be honest, the only reason I pay attention to pro football half the time is because I'm in some fantasy league and I want to watch some of the guys. But other than that, like, in my opinion, they've priced out the everyday fan, and it's so much easier to sit at home and just hang out, and I could care less. And they got rules every time you turn around that they don't want, you can't do this, or they want you to do this, or, you know, you can stand for this or kneel for that and jump through this hoop. And, you know, I don't really care. It doesn't bother me. Listen, I was completely on board with what Richie said, because that's all I watched last night, which I know we'll talk about it here in a little bit, but that was a 1,000 times more interesting to me than any preseason game, maybe even a regular season game that was on last night. It's too early for me for football. I hate to say that. Like, I mean, it's just too early. Like, I was talking to my buddy today, and he's like, football starts next week. I went, yeah, because he got asked to do the PA announcing for his school, and he goes, this sucks. He goes, August 20th? I'm like, yeah. He goes, and we talked about it. Realistically, if you think about this, if a school doesn't start until Labor Day, they're going to have a third of their season done. They're going to have 3 full football games in before Labor Day.
30% of their season's done before they even start going.
And it's like, holy crap. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm not ready for it yet. So, I mean, it's still baseball to me, and it's still summer, at least until September. September is when I start to, like, go, okay, it's fall now. Now it's time for football. But
whenever you can put your Ugg boots on and drink your pumpkin spice latte, right?
I don't do either one of those, but I will mix up a mean Crown salted caramel with some apple cider.
I know.
Warm some of that up.
A lot.
That is a very tasty beverage.
When we come back, we're going to talk about the game that happened last night in Iowa, right? Iowa?
Yep, Dyersville.
Dyersville, Iowa. We're going to talk about that. I thought that was the way that baseball should be moving forward. We'll talk about that. What did you think was cool about it? What would you like to see maybe next year if they do it again? And fingers crossed they do. All of that and your final. G. Burbik Farms, what's your beef, what's your filet? Coming up after the break right here on the YSN Power Hour.
Working with your family can be stressful at times, but because they're family, you know that you're going to get a loving, honest answer, even when things don't make sense to any problem. Dealing with Medicare can be confusing and overwhelming. That's why here at Myers Family Insurance, we do our best to give you honest and caring answers to all of your questions. Family, like Medicare, isn't always perfect, but when you put others first, the results can be amazing.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance.
We are there in your community. Small business owners, mechanics, police officers, homemakers. And we are there serving our nation in the Air Force Reserve. When medical emergencies arise, in cybersecurity, when natural disasters happen, we are there in space. We are Reserve Citizen Airmen, and we are there with over 180 different jobs to serve your country. Air Force Reserve.
Come see one of the Valley's hidden gems. The Back Nine Bar and Grill on the Berlin Lake Golf Club is the perfect place for fellowship, fame, food, and fun. Check out our daily specials and ask about memberships. The Back Nine Bar and Grill on Hartzell Road in North Benton.
Hello, I'm Greg Burbik with G. Burbik Farms. For the last 100 years, my family has farmed in Columbiana and Mahoning counties. I began raising cattle in 1996 with the goal of providing a better product for you and your family on the dinner table. Our grass-fed and grain-supplemented Black Angus beef are raised with no hormones, steroids, or antibiotics. We're known for our hometown-friendly service and incredible tasting products. We're locally owned and have customers across the tri-state area. Our products go from our farm to your family. Stop by our farm on New Buffalo Road or visit us on the web at gburbikfarms.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. G. Burbik Farms, it just tastes better.
And welcome back to the YSN Power Hour. Just in time for the conversation, the only team to ever lose in the great state of Iowa. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll bring in our resident Yankee reporter, Jeff Betos. Jeff, how did you think the game went last night?
About how it always goes for the Yankees. They hit a magical home run by Giancarlo Stanton that was 0 for 4 with, 4 strikeouts or 2 strikeouts, whatever the 0 for 4 was. Hits a bomb, ties gives the Yankees a 1-run lead, and then they do what the Yankees do all season is blow the lead in the ninth because we don't have a closer anymore. Chapman don't close. I don't know what Aaron Boone's doing, but that's okay. The Yankees have the best record in baseball since July 4th, and I'm all right with that. You know what?
Was that English? Was that English that you just used? Chapman don't close.
I love how Jeff just picks like this small little time frame. We got the best in baseball right here. Like for the past 2 days, best record in baseball. We're 2-0.
Paul. Hey, Paul. Before you talk shit, Yankees have the best record since July 4th.
Who cares?
I care a ton.
Do they have the best record in baseball overall right now?
Nah.
Are they in first place?
Nope. Just got to get in the dance, baby. That's all we need is get in. And they're doing fine right now. I'm okay with this. I'm excited. The Yankees are playing better baseball than the Pirates and the Boston Red Sox. That's all that matters.
You're holding yourself up to the Pittsburgh Pirates.
High standards there.
Wow. Good job, Jeff. Overall, did you like the presentation last night? Did you like the game?
I loved it. I thought it was cool. They had the kids playing on like the real field. They filmed the movie on. It was so cool to see all that. And to see Epps balls go into a cornfield might have been the funniest thing. Like I imagine like being a farmer being like, "Damn it, baseball! Damn it, baseball! Who hit baseballs in my farm?"
Jeff, did you say they have a better record than Boston?
They don't.
Since July 4th, they have a better record than baseball.
July 4th.
Since July 4th, whatever.
Since 3 days ago.
They're third place in their division.
Yes.
They're 7 games back.
Does that get them in the playoffs?
No one gives a crap about the division right now. We care about the wild
card.
They're in the dance, baby. They're in the dance.
They're third place in the wild card.
They're
Still
2 back in the
behind
wild
Boston.
card.
They're third place.
Yeah, they're only 1 loss behind Boston, Paul. I'm not too nervous.
No,
Boston is 10. Boston has lost the last 10 out of the last 15 games.
And they're still 3 games better than New York.
2 games better than New York.
3. They're 66 and 51, and New York is 63 and 52. They're 2 full games behind them.
There you go. Not better than 3, Paul. It's 2 games back. We're fine. They're fine.
Paul, the only thing they're counting right now is games since July 4th.
That's what Jeff's counting. 4th, baby. That's all that matters, right? We're like the Patriots.
Paul, from your standpoint last night as a baseball fan, did you like what Fox put together?
Absolutely loved it. I mean, they hit a, pun intended, home run.
Got him!
Because, and that was the other thing, too. Like, I mean, the game was 9-8, and I think there was at least 5 or 6 home runs in that game. And it really shocked me. Like, a ton of them were out to right field, which was unusual for that. But I loved it. I loved the way that the guys came walking out of the cornfield.
Kevin Costner.
Costner being there. Obviously, fans didn't know Costner was going to be there. And so that was kind of cool to see him come out of the cornfield and take a look around. I mean, they did it. They did it to the T. I mean, everything was awesome there. I mean, and listen, I even could stand Joe Buck. So it was okay. He was good. I mean, John Smoltz is a great announcer, and he's that's why they always bring a former pro in there.
You're biased. You're biased.
All right, I might be a little bit because he's a former Brave.
No, not a little bit. Not a little bit. Not a little bit. Not a little bit.
But he's good. He's good. Listen, I was never a fan of Tony Romo because he played for the Cowboys, but Tony Romo is a great announcer. Because when those guys
did you want Troy Aikman?
We're not talking about Tony Romo. We're talking about John Smoltz.
You don't like John Smoltz?
I have no problem with John Smoltz.
Okay, then. All I said was he's a good announcer, and he did better than Joe Buck.
I'm just stating the obvious that you're biased. You're stroking him a little bit too hard.
I still don't understand this Joe Buck bias. I think he's one of the greatest of all time.
He's trash.
Because he announced the World Series when the Indians lost.
Yep.
And it broke your little hearts, and he liked Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah.
He doesn't
He
say our
liked
guy's
Kyle
name
Schwarber.
enough. He doesn't say. That sounds very familiar. That sounds very familiar. Sitting in this chair, they're not saying our guys' names.
Yeah. I just think, though, I mean, they had the drone flying around. They had, all the bells and whistles yesterday. I mean, I thought it was neat that everybody who was associated, whether it was the announcers or the camera guys, they all kind of dressed up a little bit in the, 20s and 30s style. So I thought it was cool. I thought it was really cool. I mean, listen, if I have a gripe about anything, and it's not their fault, but the teams they had throwback uniforms, and New York's hasn't changed in 1,000 years. So there was really no difference in looking at theirs. But I liked how the White Sox had it looked like Shoeless Joe. It looked like that vintage old style.
I love the Yankees unis. There was enough differences to know. Even in the Yankees logo, you could tell
it was fatter. Yeah. It was a fatter NY. And that was really about it. I mean, their grays were always, that's how their grays have always been. It just says New York and it's gray. But I'd like to have seen another team that had a better throwback uniform. But other than that, there was nothing to complain about. It was just awesome.
All right.
And just because Jeff's a fan, the Yankees lost. So it was a good night.
Before I go, I'll go Billy, because I know Billy watched. Billy, what did you think of it?
I was actually a little bit disappointed. First off, I hate Joe Buck. I think Joe Buck stinks. He's the worst ever. But let's get past that. I don't know why. I really thought that they were actually going to play on the actual field. So when I seen this beautiful field in the middle of the cornfield, I was like, oh. I get it, but oh. I was a little bit taken back from it a little bit. For whatever reason in my head, I just imagined them playing on the actual field. I thought that would have been super cool, but I get it. That's all.
How about Romo? Did you watch?
I didn't watch the game live, but obviously I got notifications of the home runs every 5 seconds last night, and I saw a shot from what it would have been the White Sox dugout after Tim Anderson hit the walk-off, and then he rounds third, and then the fireworks are flying up. That was one of the coolest scenes I think I've ever seen.
Amo says we need a Sandlot game now. So next year where they play the Sandlot. That'd be neat.
So I didn't watch the game, but I think you guys might enjoy this, or you'd have good input on it. Do you think other sports should do something like this? Should the NFL go put a field in the middle of a cow pasture, and basketball go to Rucker Park, or shit like that?
Football, where's the Jeff? What's the one you always say is East Liverpool?
Varsity Blues.
Varsity Blues, that would be cool if
they
go
to East Liverpool. Yeah. Go right down to East Liverpool. That's where Varsity Blues was filmed at. I guarantee it.
That wasn't English.
I think this is something that baseball can really get behind. And remember, we talked about in the winter what can baseball do differently to kind of help them progress a little bit. This is something they've done something like this before. I actually like what they did with the Little League World Series is when they play over there in Williamsport.
Yeah.
And they only invited the Little League people, whether it's coaches, players, and the people that are involved in that.
That's coming in 2 weeks, really.
Right. Right. That's cool to me. That's really cool.
Indians are playing in that.
Yeah.
I'm not an Indians fan. Sorry.
Did you see?
I did. I saw it today. It's only American teams.
Yeah. No international. Both teams
crazy
in the region.
I mean, you look at some of the teams that are around here that could have been. You know what I mean? I'm not saying what could have been. I guess I am, but what could have been for the Boardman team, Poland, Canfield. These teams that are exceptional. That if your chances increase if you're just playing the teams in America. Because as you've seen, it's a different brand of baseball over in China when those kids come over. They're playing against bats they don't even know.
Right. And as if one of our coaches would say, they're cheating. So, I mean, like it was so cool when I got to experience it a couple years ago with China and Germany, and it's really neat. And the way that the kids present themselves to the game and how they respect it is on another level that you've never seen before. It's so crazy how baseball is Americans' pastime, but it's almost like. I'm just going to say it's almost like the outsiders respect the game a little bit more than the people who created it. It's really weird.
I think it's because they're afraid, kind of like we are with hockey. We're afraid that we're going to damage it, so we treat it a little bit more like a Fabergé egg, and that's what other cultures do and other countries do with baseball. They want to make sure that they don't disrespect it, and here we are spitting all over it at every chance we get because it's ours. You know what I mean? It's different when it's your toy as opposed to somebody else's. Richie, I'm really interested to see what you thought about last night's game. You know, what your takeaways were, as you are probably one of, if not the biggest baseball fan that I know.
Yeah, I mean, I loved it. You know, everything about it, I loved it. They built it up really well. I mean, from the beginning of the year, they were talking about this game that was going to be played in Dyersville outside the original stadium, and that facility they built was absolutely gorgeous. I mean, Billy, I know you didn't like it because it wasn't on the original site, that original field, but my goodness, to put that field together within 5 months and the way it looked, I mean, it looked like a major league field. And the only thing I would say that was a negative about the field was it was really short. I mean, it was 380 to center, 323 to left and right, and that's why we saw 5-6 home runs in the game. But I think that's why they built it that way, because they wanted an action-filled game with 5 or 6 home runs. And I think they nailed it.
Richie, if they cut any more corn down, the guy would lose his farm.
You're building on field. Yeah. So, I mean, I love what they did from the broadcast perspective, too, because that's what we look at. I mean, the camera angles inside the corn, the guys entering from right field out of the corn. I think it was just perfected on MLB's part, and the way it turned out, of course, such a great game, and you couldn't ask for anything better. And, I'm really excited what they do next year, too, because they put 2 big markets in there in Chicago and New York. I'll be excited at what they do next year. Maybe try and build up some smaller teams.
Yeah, put the Guardians in there.
Yeah, put the Guardians and Marlins in there.
The Guardians of the Galaxy, nice.
Yeah. Well, the Guardians get the Little League World Series game this year.
What?
See, the only thing I don't like about that Little League World Series game, and you can't buy a ticket if you're a fan. I know the Little League kids get to go, and that's cool and everything. They try and interact with the kids.
Richie, you'll mix right in.
I mean, the ticket sales were an average of $3,000 a seat last night. Like, who's going to that?
Well, they built it.
I mean, who's gonna go to that?
They listen to the voice.
Well, it was a lottery too. You had to win this lottery, and then you had the opportunity to buy those tickets.
If you build it, they will come.
Yeah, and they did. I mean, I think it was only like 8,000 seats, and they sold them all.
And Kevin Costner bought 2.
If you think Kevin Costner bought 2 tickets,
dude, when he rolled out of the corn, I was like, "Let's go! Let's go, Ray!" The only thing I missed was I thought that it would have been cool as he was walking off if Aaron Judge or somebody walked up to the mic and be like, "Hey Kev, want to have a catch?" And then they did it. That would have been it for me. And then every man in the United States would have been crying because they would have reminisced of what that was. That was, to me, it was the ultimate. I think baseball nailed it, and they kind of, to take away something that Billy does, they did an RKO on everybody because it came out of nowhere. Everybody's, the NFL, the NBA, everybody's focused on the future. The MLB has something that nobody else has, and that's the history of the United States. It is embedded in the flag. It is America's game, no matter which way you slice it up. So if they would embrace their history a little bit more, stuff like this, I think it'd be cool to have a game where the Guardians, or whatever they're going to call themselves, dressed up and it was like Major League, right? So if it was the White Sox versus the Indians, you could have Jack Parkman and stuff like that, where you embrace the game a little bit, the pop culture. This is what they did, and to me, this was a humongous success. Humongous success. I like the Little League game. To Richie's point, not to make fun of them, I don't like that they just have the Little Leaguers. However, the Little Leaguers should have the entire first row. Anything that's in the front row or whatever, It should be theirs, and they should be able to run on the field with the guys. And then you open it up and you build your revenue so there's a professional atmosphere. I know what they're trying to do, but they're failing to do it. If that makes sense.
And I think this year they're still going to have 14 teams there. So you're still, I think, going to have your full capacity if you want to say it that way. But I think they're still not going to have, you're not going to have as many of the international, people that come travel and do those things. You're going to have a lot more, United States there. But you're still losing that crowd that is normally there, like those kids that don't get to see professional baseball. Like they want to be there and see that. Like again, like we talk about, baseball is our sport. So these kids who are coming to these games have an opportunity to go to a game if they really wanted to go to a game.
Here's a perfect solution, Paul. Here's a perfect solution. Just thought of it right now. Okay, so it's the Indians and who, Rich?
Angels.
Okay. So you take any of the city little leagues or county little leagues around the greater Los Angeles area, and you do the same thing around Cleveland, and you open it up, and then you partner with a Southwest or you partner with a Delta or American Airlines or whoever it is, and you fly these little leaguers. So it's all little leaguers. So not only do they get to meet their heroes, being the Indians and the Angels, but they also get to meet the representatives of the World Series that year. And you fill that stadium with just kids. And I think that's a win. And
I don't know if you want to partner with Delta. I heard it's pretty contagious.
Well, I mean, and two, they get to miss, like, Shoshani is like the ticket right now. And like all those.
Who?
Easy there, Jeff.
Whatever.
Ohtani?
Go ahead.
Ohtani?
The international kids don't get a chance to see that guy. And he's the hottest ticket right now.
Did you say Shoshani?
Shohani, whatever.
Hey,
Listen,
Mardell.
It's better than what I was going to say.
Oh, gosh. We're going to put you and Jeff in a cage.
Jesus.
Mardell, welcome back, man. We hope you a fast recovery, whatever the situation is, man. Thanks for
hurt his
tuning
knee.
in.
Yeah, I think
I did see that.
I think he tore his. I don't know if he. I'll have to talk to him. I don't know if he did it like boxing, sparring, or training or whatnot, but I think he tore his ACL. That and I'm sure he'll chime in, but maybe dislocated the kneecap slightly or something like that.
Jeez, oh man. Well, either way, speedy recovery, brother. We're all here for you. We thank you for tuning in, and obviously, it's great to see you at least up and Adam a little bit and on your road to recovery. Anybody else want to chime in on the game last night?
Aaron Judge's cleats were pretty cool. Did you see those? The Florida Dream.
Yeah.
Aaron
We had
Judge.
on.
Aaron Judge.
They
They
were.
hope you get beaten by a shark.
He had some cool cleats. I liked them.
Yeah,
I
they
didn't
were
see
cool. They were signed by like Yogi Berra and stuff like that. They had all of that.
Like actual? No, isn't Yogi Berra dead?
Yeah, but
They were all the like murderers row guys of the Yankees,
from the
all
grave.
throwbacks.
I
Mickey
mean, yeah.
Mantle.
I guess if I made $25 million a year, I could probably have really cool spikes too.
Hey, I got really cool turfs for like 100.
they were pretty cool.
Just throwing it out there. It is time again, gentlemen. All of you have been a part of this Power Hour since the inception, in one way or another, and so has G Burbik Farms. G Burbik Farms has been a partner of ours since day one of YSN, the only one that could ever say that. And today is the final day of their sponsorship here on the Power Hour and on YSN, and we want to do them right. Quinn is sitting there from the G Burbik Farms, and Richie for that matter, from the G Burbik Farms studios, and that will change names after today. We want to thank them for always being there, and specifically thank Greg Burbik for everything that he's done and will continue to do as he moves towards a transition in his life. We're excited for you, Greg. We thank you. I can't tell you on behalf of my family how much it meant to us that you believed in us so early, and same with Brian Scott, who's here today. So thank you to G Burbik Farms. Best of luck to you in your future endeavors. And Greg, thank you. We love you. We appreciate you, and we couldn't have done it without you. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, your last G Burbik Farms, what's your beef, what's your filet? And Jeff, why don't you start us off?
Mine is a filet that it's Friday and it's a weekend. Long week at work, long 2 days. So I'm happily to be off work for the rest of the weekend and drink a ton of Busch Light and Fireball, probably.
That's what you got for the last G. Burbik Farms beef. That's what you're gonna go to. You couldn't have went to weather, so you went to your stupid job. Like, come on, Jeff. Come prepared.
Jeff, you only worked 2 days?
No, I worked all week. The last 2 days. I've been busy working the last 2 days.
Way to go, Shoshani. Paul, what do you have?
Mine's a beef, and my beef is with people who commit to something. You've committed to do something, or you've committed to be a part of something, and then all of a sudden now you want to change the rules, and you want to say, well, I don't want to do this now. You've signed up to do it. You're going to do it, and if you don't, then you'll be hearing from people who are going to tell you you're going to do it, because, I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, people who are in the know, but I mean, it's just stupid that like a week before, everything's going to go crazy, all of a sudden you want to try to like mix things up and say, well, no, I don't want to do this now. And it's like, you're committed to do it. And when your commitment's over, you can do whatever the hell you want. But until then, we're going to hold your feet to the fire, and it's over.
Paul, did you just go mafioso? Like, did you just we will send people for you? You will.
You're gonna wake up with a horse head in your bed.
An offer you can't refuse.
EV, what do you have?
Well, 2 fillets. One, I guess it's kind of beef because no more G Burbik, but the fillet for that would be if you guys have never shopped there, like, do yourself a favor and go get some meat from G. Burbik Farms, because it is by far some of the best around. And then also, I mean, dude, I'm pretty excited that we brought Wyndham and Hallen on, because for someone like me who coaches and I don't get to see a lot of my girls or a lot of my AAU girls games, now with Hallen, I get to watch 4 different girls. And then, Wyndham, I get to see Zara play, which that's always a tough one because she's a little bit out there. So no mob deals, or I'm not going to put a horse head in your bed or anything, but that's my fillet.
Paul, get to the stadium now.
Your tattoo's talking.
Yeah.
Billy, let's go.
I'm just going to go with a classic one here. My beef is with Baker Mayfield. Baker,
is this the best you got?
I just don't understand.
This is the best you got for the last G. Burbik Farms. What's your beef? This is with Baker Mayfield. You can't pick that on vacation. Like you did that. That's what you're gonna go with. You're gonna go so original.
But you've been quiet the whole damn show, and now all of a sudden you want to speak.
What?
Now what are you, Stone Cold now?
What?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
My beef's with Baker. The guy now all of a sudden today he comes out and says, "Oh, I need a day of rest," so he's not going to practice. He's not going to be in the preseason game. Like they already took the game off, and now you need another day off. And this guy wants buku money.
Relax.
And now Tom Brady's playing.
That's totally different than the TB12.
Oh, so
different.
Baker Mayfield's better than Tom Brady.
It's totally different. It's a TB12 process. He's eating avocado ice cream and kissing his son on the lips.
It is totally different. TB12 wins Super Bowl championships, and Baker wishes one day he could be to win one.
Jesus.
So that's my beef. It's to all the fans who continue to support him, the Michael Pages, the Aaron Moser, all you guys who keep supporting this clown. He'll be done at the end of the year.
Avocado ice cream. He kissed his son on the lips.
Couldn't think of anything else.
Kissed his son on the lips. Robo, welcome back to the shit show.
Well, I'm gonna have to go with the fillet today, and I've been really amped up lately. Just football returning soon. I mean, you have high school football returning next Friday, the 20th. First Saturday of college football, technically real week 1, is the 4th. The 4th, and then the first NFL Sunday is the 12th. Now, I don't know how I feel about high school football games. Like you said, if you start Labor Day, after Labor Day, I mean, you're going to have 30% of your season done. Football is meant for the fall, not necessarily they're your first 3 games starting in temperatures of high 70s at 7 o'clock. But yeah, I'm excited for football season.
You're excited for football season? The better question, are you prepared for football season? Because you and our buddy Jamie turning around the camera, last minute heroes at Springfield. Mentally, are you prepared? Have you prepared yourself, and how did you do it?
I don't know. I still have another week to prepare. I'm not fully prepared yet, but I'll tell you what, come 7 o'clock or approximately maybe 6:30 next Friday, Jamie and I are going to have the notes lined up. And we're going to be ready for Hubbard versus Norway. And hopefully the Eagles are going to come out with the dub.
Starting to fly. We're ready to go. All right, to the Canfield Square. Quincy.
I'll go first. That's fine. I just got a filet. My buddy Lincoln, he just bought a house, his first house, and I'm excited. I get to go see him soon, and just congrats on the house, man.
Nice pull.
You get a room there?
No, I casted a push car over there. I'm not leaving that anytime soon. At least not until Big John decides.
Somewhere your dad is crying right now.
Yeah, Big John might kick me out soon, so we'll see.
All right, Richie.
All right. Filet, definitely being back here in the studio. I haven't been in here in a couple months, so it was nice to return. Nice to be on running point with Anthony. And, now I get the opportunity to play some Pong and get a W against DJ.
Wrong again, Ginger. Wrong again. I will represent America, and you can represent Ireland or wherever the hell you're from. I'm gonna say that it's a filet. It's nice to have everybody back. It's nice to be able to have B here, B Scott. It's certainly nice to be able to kind of lean on guys, especially from this team. I love the team we have. I love the team we continue to build. And when you guys all come back and make appearances on the show or in the studio or here at HQ, it's awesome. It's just my favorite time of year because of the camaraderie we build together and the hill that we continue to climb. So that's going to do it. The G Burbik Farms, what's your filet, what's your beef? I think we can all just give a nice salute to Greg Burbik and G Burbik Farms for everything they've done for us personally and professionally. So cheers. Yeah, cheers, absolutely. To the next step. So if you are looking, because we are certainly going to fill that spot quickly, if you're interested in being the next beef or filet or whatever it turns into, it can be trash, it can be plumbing, it can be whatever. We'll make it fancy for you. Don't worry. We have the creative juices flowing. If you want to be the next studio sponsor, I mean, it's up all day and it goes 24/7. Contact us ysnlive.com/advertise or get a hold of myself or Mr. Matt Seidel. That's going to do it for our show today. Thank you to all of our panelists today. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Billy, safe travels. And thank you to you for tuning in. And, of course, our great sponsors below, including the Air Force Reserve, Joe Dickey, Channel 21 WFMJ, Clientele, and Baird Brothers. That's going to do it. We'll see you Monday. It's football week in America. We will see you in just a couple of days. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you soon.